Hey guys, it's the 4th of July, and for that, we need to do something just a little bit special, or maybe a little bit different. I went back to dig through some videos of some old lures that I had painted. I had to go all the way back to 2018 for this one, but I thought I wanted to bring it back, show it again, because it's the 4th of July. So this is what I call my version of the patriotic lure. Stick with me. We're going to do this on a 2.5 square bill. And mainly I'm using this because I like the size of this one better than the 1.5 for doing a pattern like this. I've painted them white ahead of time to put our first color on. So the very first color we're going to use is the Createx Pearlized White. And we're just going to shoot this whole thing Pearlized White. And I'm doing the Pearlized because I want that soft glow and a little bit of shine I get with the pearlized colors. Alright, there we are. Pearlized white. We're going to heat set that to dry it, move on to the next step. It was very important that we got that good and dry before we started on the next step, and that's because the next step we're going to come back with some masking tape. So, ran out of my green, so I'm down to blue. We're going to take some masking tape. We put this in the helping hands to hold it. And what we're going to do, we're going to come right up here near the head, and we're just going to run a piece of masking tape right down the end. We just barely cover the end of the head here. Go down to the tail on the end. And it doesn't matter on the head if you go over it because we're going to do something different there later anyway. Getting us down just where you want it sometimes is the tricky part. We're going to go with just 3 of these. Cross like this. There we go. Now I'm going to turn it over. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Alright, I have all my tape on. I ran 3 stripes down here. This top one starts right about the top of the gill plate. The bottom one about there. The middle one goes almost along the lateral line you'll see on the lure. Same thing here. 3 on this side. I let the belly go. And then I put 1 right down the middle. So we have a total of 7 pieces of tape on that. So next thing to do is mix up some more paint. Now for this next step I had 4 different types of red paint. I had your Createx Opaque Red. I had Createx Transparent Red. I also have some Wicked colors. I had this in a Pearl Red. And then Walmart Candy Apple Red. Now I took all 4, put them on paper, I dried them, tested them out to see. When it got all said and done, for the nice bright red, I preferred the Walmart Candy Apple Red. So we're going to take all the $5 bottle paints back, and we're going to use the 50-cent bottle paint. So what can I tell you? That's the one I like the looks of. You might like it different, but that's one I did. Alright, so I've got the red, and now we're just going to paint them red. We're not going to worry about the head. All we need is the body. We want a good solid coat to cover that up really well. Alright. There's our red. Now, real important. Put out the heat gun. We're going to dry it good and dry before we start taking any tape off. Well, I've got it all dried. Now comes the moment of truth. Now, I've never used blue painter's tape. I've always used green. So we'll see what happens. Dried well. And we'll just start gently pulling off tape. Get it off my finger. And get that last piece down in there. Alright. There we go. We got our red and our white stripes. We know what's next. We need the blue for the head. And to make it nice and shiny, we're going to use Pearlized Blue for the head. Let's get the gun loaded up. Now about this time you're probably getting a little worried because you're figuring, hey, I haven't been doing this very long and I'm supposed to paint that head blue and not get anything on the body. Well, I'm not that good either. So here's the way I do it. Back to the painter's tape, and you can see I got a whole bunch of little pieces. It's going to be a little time consuming, but what I do is I come right around the head and just put in, and you're going to have to make them small to be able to make the curves. But I'm just going to come back in and put some painter's tape right around here. Again, these have to be real small to fit the curve. You don't need to push them down there too hard so you don't mess up your other paint. But just slowly, don't get in a hurry, work your way around. I'm going to keep doing this when I get it done, because it's going to take me a little bit, and I'll show you what I got. Alright, there we go. Lots of little pieces. You can see it all the way around. You just take your time. Don't stick them on there too hard because you don't want to mess up your paint. But go all the way around. Now, if you still don't feel safe, just take another piece of tape now. Just kind of go like that, just lightly. You only have to touch this tape. You don't really have to touch the lure if you don't want to. Just come over here and do it again. There you go. Should be easy, no problem hitting the head now without hitting the rest of the lure. So let's load up our blue paint and get going from there. We're ready to go. And as I said, we're going to use the Createx Pearlized Blue for the head. The main thing is, just don't get any on the body. Now don't put on too heavy of a coat to begin with, just a light coat. And you're going to see the red and white show through a little. Don't worry about it. And don't try to do it all in one coat and cover it. Just take your time. Put on a light coat. And you know what? Let's go ahead and dry that with the heat gun. And then we'll come back and put another coat on. Alright, got it dry. Let's go for coat number 2. There we go. I think we got it covered. Let's put another heat dry on that, and then we'll move on. Alright, we are ready for the tape. Now just remember, really good and dry before you start removing tape. It's just like when we're using the wraps. You want to make sure everything is as dry as can be before you start taking anything off, so you have less chance of having a problem. We're going to just ease it up. I never pushed any of this down very hard, so it tends to come off pretty easy. And there we go. We have our red and white stripes. We have the blue head. We'll need eyes. I think some red eyes are going to look good in this, but we're missing one thing. We need some stars. So let's work on the stars next. Now, you're probably telling yourself, all right, that's fine and all that. Let's see this guy paint some stars. I want to see how he does that. Well, I hate to disappoint you. I'm going to cheat. Went to Hobby Lobby and I purchased a sheet with some gold stars on it, various sizes. I think I paid like $1.99 or $2, whatever I paid, not much. Bought a sheet like that, and of course you can't have gold stars, so we paint them white. We just take some, I used opaque white I believe at the time, painted some white over the top. And now, let's see what I got here. See if I can use this, and we'll just pick off a star. Oops, if I touch that, I'll take that off here in a little bit. Just a second. Got a little white on my finger and I got it on, but I can get that off later. Oops, I lost that one. There we go. Now see, the neat thing is, you're saying, yeah, I'm putting that on, but remember, I'm going to put the 2-part epoxy on top. And when I do that, that's going to hold those in place. And at the same token, we are kind of doing this for decorative purposes. I'm not really saying this is a lure that you're probably going to go out and put in the water and try to catch fish, and it's got to stay in one piece for that. I'm getting paint on my finger from that, and then I'm putting it on the lure. So let's put one more right up in the middle. How about one right up here? We'll come back with it. You'll take that off. All right, I got a little white right there. I can take that off with a Q-tip here in just a little bit. There we go. We've got some stars in place. Now, we need those red eyes. That'll be the next step. All right, as usual, get a little tacky glue. Put just a little tacky glue in each eye socket. As I said, I think we'll go with the red eye. Get the other one up here. And there we go. Our flag lure for Veterans Day. Get some of that out of the way. We'll let the eyes sit. Then it just needs a top coat, and we'll show you the results when we get it all done. Well, there we go, guys. That's my version of what I call the patriotic lure. You know, I've never taken it to the lake, never tried to catch fish with it. It was just something I had a lot of fun painting. Thought it was interesting, thought it was kind of unique. Hey, have a great 4th of July. Thanks for sticking with me. Subscribe to the channel if you would. Hope to see you again real soon.